Hello and welcome to Shoolini Spotlight, the show where we bring you inspiring stories, remarkable journeys, and conversations with achievers who are creating a difference in their respective fields. Today, we have with us a young achiever who is making her mark in one of the most challenging and competitive sporting fields, motorsports. At just 18 years of age, Shriya Lohia has already participated in more than 120 races and secured over 35 podium finishes. She has also been recognized four times by the Federation of Motorsport Club of India and has represented Hyderabad Blackbird in the Indian Formula 4 category. In 2022, she received the prestigious Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Puraskar for her excellence in motorsport. Her journey began at the age of 9, and today she has set her sight on an even bigger dream, becoming one of India's Formula One drivers. Shriya, a very warm welcome to Shoolini Spotlight. It's wonderful to have you with us.
Hello, thank you so much. It's a huge honor to be speaking with you today.
Okay, so the first question. You were only 9 when you developed a passion for motorsports. So, what was it about racing that attracted you so strongly at such a young age?
When I first tried out go-karting, which was my first ever glimpse of motorsports in my life, I had no prior knowledge about motorsports through my family or through anything. The first time I think I stepped into a go-kart, I immediately fell in love with the adrenaline rush and the thrill and obviously the speed at that age because when you're 9 and you're not allowed to drive any vehicles, I feel like it was a pretty big moment and it was a pretty big deal to experience that sort of thrill and speed. And yeah, I instantly just fell in love with, the racing lines, getting around the racetrack, overtaking people, just the entire thrill aspect of it, I guess.
So, the second question. Do you remember your first race or your first experience behind the wheel?
My first ever experience behind the wheel was, like I said, the first time I ever tried a go kart, which was just a random day that we stumbled upon a go karting track and just so happened to want to give it a shot. But yeah, I mean, it was the biggest moment in my life, I would say, because that's kind of what changed everything for me, and it's the first time I ever, clicked with something so instantly. Having tried many sports at that age, nothing really connected with me the way that motorsports did, and so instantly. So yeah, I mean, I would say that that's how my first experience in a go kart was.
You have now
Yeah.
competed in more than 120 races and achieved over 35 podium finishes. When you look back at this journey, which race or podium finish is the most special to you?
I would say each race is really special because I think when you don't come from a really wealthy family, every moment that you get to drive these cars and live out your dream is really special to you. But I think if I was to pick one, it would be one of my karting races where I had really strong pace the entire weekend and I was on for a top three finish. Definitely was there to fight for the win. But unfortunately, due to some mechanical issues right before the final race, I ended up having to start in 10th place, which was far from, where I want to start. And I had sort of maybe given up a bit mentally at that point. I felt kind of defeated that, I don't know what's going to happen. This is not the way I wanted the weekend to go or the final race to go. But yeah, in that race, somehow I was able to pull myself together and eventually cross the finish line in first place. So I made up 10 positions in that race. And yeah, it was just a really special and happy moment for me because I felt like I really defeated this mental obstacle. And I was really just able to show my true representative pace and that even maybe starting off in the back of the field was not a disadvantage to me and that I truly was able to fight for the positions that I wanted.
Okay, so you have competed in the Indian Formula 4 category with Hyderabad Blackbirds. So, what was the experience of moving from karting to Formula 4, and what were the biggest differences that you had to adapt to?
Moving from karting to Formula 4 is a pretty big change. Obviously, karting teaches you the fundamentals of motorsports, the racing lines, the braking points, overtaking, and defending and attacking. But Formula 4 is a completely different ballgame. It's a much bigger car. It's got a lot more power. It has a lot more effect of downforce on it than a go-kart does. And it's a lot heavier as well on your body. It's a lot more strength required to maneuver that car as compared to a go-kart. So yeah, I mean, with Formula cars, I'd say that it takes a lot of practice. Whereas with karting, personally, from my experience, I didn't need a lot of constant seat time in a go kart to be able to do well. I was one of those drivers who would step into a go kart maybe 1 or 2 days prior to a race weekend and still be able to perform just as good as the guys who were training there every single week. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the big differentiator. In Formula cars, you definitely need a lot more time in the car to be able to adapt to it, to understand multiple different aspects of it, because it just adds a lot more to your schedule than driving a go-kart, because go-karts are a lot simpler for us to understand, and formula cars just are a lot more advanced in a way, I would say.
And motorsport is an extremely competitive sport, physically demanding and mentally challenging. So, how do you handle pressure when you make one mistake on the track and that you feel like this can change the outcome of the race?
When you make a mistake on track or even off track, I think it's very important to stick with the mindset of getting back up every single time, even though in the moment it obviously isn't great to feel like you've made a mistake, or to actually see it happen. I think it's just such an important mindset to have in more sports, because things will keep happening and there's nothing you can do about it. Good things will happen, bad things will happen. In sports, you will make mistakes, or maybe things could happen to you, like how in motorsports there's a lot of factors outside of your control that could affect you. But yeah, the main thing is trying your best to not let it affect you, because that's all you can do. If you give in to too much of that, eventually you are hindering with your own process, and that's with your own progress, and that's not a fun thing at all. So yeah, I mean, it's all about getting up from every single bad moment, every single mistake, and reminding yourself why you do what you do, and the reason that you love it, and to just get back up and remind yourself also that one mistake does not define your potential or your capabilities as a human or as an athlete.
Okay, so every successful sports person experiences losses and setbacks. Can you tell us about one difficult moment in your racing career and how what that experience has taught you?
Like I said, I think there's a lot of ups and downs in anyone's sporting career, not just specifically to motorsports. But yeah, I mean, personally for me, because I don't come from a really wealthy family, I've had a few difficult moments outside of the racetrack, also with uh, not having the funds to race for a while. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of ups and downs, even on track, off track. I think the only way you can deal with it is trust the process and understand that sometimes things do happen for a reason. And even like I said, it's all part of the process. The good things, the bad things, they all teach you something. You can't be the person that you want to be without the bad stuff either. You can't avoid it. It will truly build your character a lot more. So I mean, yeah, it's just about trying to work through those difficult moments, no matter how difficult they seem in the moment. I mean, it's all about having that sort of mental clarity and awareness at that point to truly be able to understand the larger purpose of something happening in your life, and how you can use that to transform um, your career, and how you can use it to transform your mindset, and use that to maybe motivate yourself further to get ahead in your career.
In the year 2022, you received the Pradhan Mantri Bal Puraskar Award. So, what did that recognition mean to you personally, and did it change the way that you looked at your own journey?
It meant a lot to me, obviously, because the recognition came from the highest level possible in our country. And for motorsports, it was a pretty big thing, because motorsports is not a very well known sport, and to get that recognition, I think was the greatest thing we could have asked for. It really helped, give me the confidence that I needed. It felt like a huge honor, and it felt like all my efforts were being validated. All that my parents have sacrificed and put into my career has really just been validated. I think it was a really great moment, and I think it is a pretty big defining moment for more sports as well. To see that we do have a certain level of representation in this country.
Okay. And you have also been recognized 4 times by the FMSCI. So, what does recognition from India's governing body for motorsports mean to a young driver, and how does it motivate you to be better?
It means the world because they handle everything to do with more sports in India. They're highly experienced individuals running the entire, governing body. And to see that they appreciate my efforts and the amount of work I put into my career is obviously really pleasing. I am just really honored to have been invited so many times. And been awarded by the FMSCI. And yeah, it just gives me more inspiration to keep working harder for my goals and to feel content with the fact that yes, there's so many people who are behind me and there to support me throughout.
Okay, so alongside your already demanding career, you have also been pursuing your education and you just finished the 12th grade through homeschooling. So, how do you manage studies, training, traveling, everything?
It definitely gets tough at time because there's a lot of things to manage at once. But I think ever since I started homeschooling, I was pretty strict on myself for making sure I got my studies done on time because that was the most important thing for me. I knew that with a demanding schedule, it would not be that easy to, conventionally study and, pursue everything else alongside. So, yeah, I just made it very clear to myself on how to prioritize my studies versus how to, prioritize time for my sport and for preparation and for other things. So it was really just about trying to understand time management, understanding how to divide my time equally between those things, and making sure I don't slack off completely in the process. Yeah.
Okay, so behind every successful athlete, there is often a strong support system. So, how important are your family, sponsors, coaches in helping you reach where you are today?
Obviously my family is my biggest support. Without them I wouldn't be in the sport. I was fortunate enough for them to support me from such a young age and to put me into this and to always be behind me throughout it all. I know that they've given up a lot for me and for my career, and for that I'm really grateful, and I really do want to make them proud and bring back all that they've given up for me, and sort of repay them in a way. But yeah, I mean, and with my sponsors as well, like I said, motorsports is such an expensive sport. It's probably the most expensive sport in the world. It would be absolutely impossible to pursue this as a career without the help of sponsors because it's just not possible, when you come from a middle class family. So yeah, I mean, the support means everything to me. Obviously, with sponsors, it's really important because they're able to provide the financial support, and that eases things off a lot for myself and for my family, and allows me to focus purely on the sporting aspect of things. So yeah, I mean, their support all combined means everything to me because, like I said, it's also not like a one person journey. It's not just me who's getting closer to my dream every day. It's kind of a collective effort, and yeah, I mean, I'm really grateful for all the support I get every single day.
Okay, so motorsports is still mostly previewed as a male dominated field. So, as a young woman in motorsports, have you faced any stereotypes or doubts because of your gender, and how do you usually respond to them?
Inevitably, there will be people who will have things to say, um, just because it's not that normalized yet. We are, a growing number as females in most sports, but we're certainly not at a level where we're equal, and without judgment. I think when people have things to say or try to judge you based purely off of your gender, I think it's best to not pay attention to those kind of comments. Just remind yourself that your gender does not dictate your talent or your skills or your results. It has nothing to do with it. There is a clear distinction of being female versus male, but that does not mean that being female means you have a disadvantage, or that you're entering something that's for men or things like that. I think that's something you really need to put away and not pay attention to. The only way I think you can deal with that is just focusing on the work that you need to put in, focusing on the hard work and sort of forgetting that aspect. And anytime I think you're at a racetrack, I think it's best to just put that mindset away and just remind yourself that at the end of the day, you're all racing drivers, male or female. I mean, we're just people who love racing and who are trying to get to the highest level possible. And yeah, that it doesn't make it any different. It's really just about the amount of work that you're willing to put in for your sport.
Okay. So for many young Indians, motorsport may look exciting from the outside, but they don't really know how to get into the field. So what would you tell students who would want to build a career in motorsports but don't know where to start?
There's a lot of different ways to enter motorsports depending on everyone's individual interests. But for my journey, I would say I started off with karting. I started off with four-stroke karting, which is the most beginner level karting that you can do with no prior experience. Um, it's where you learn, some of the basics to be able to handle a go-kart. And then from that, you move on to two-stroke karting, which is professional level karting, national and international level championships, where you truly develop as a driver. You learn absolutely everything to do with racing on a racetrack. And yeah, I mean, I think that's the main part where you would learn all the basics. And then from there, you have a bunch of different options to choose from. When you're able to build a good resume, I think within karting itself, it's really important because it would really help you attract sponsorship. Because as you go higher up in more sports, it just gets a lot more expensive. But yeah, I mean, after you finish off in two-stroke karting, you have a lot of multiple different options in circuit racing, which are GT racing, endurance racing, Formula racing. There's a lot to choose from in that aspect. But yeah, I mean, even outside of circuit racing, you have a lot of options in rallying, which is at a different budget level as compared to formulas. It's a lot more accessible for most people. And there's there's also two wheelers. There's dirt cross bikes. There's so many things to choose from, really. But yeah, I mean, if you want to start off in circuit racing, that's sort of the guide I would give you.
Okay. You have also
Yeah.
appeared as a TEDx speaker. So what is one message from your own journey that you would want to give to young people?
One message from my journey. I think it's kind of difficult to just pick one because I think there's a lot of things I've learned from my journey. Truly, I would be nothing without my sport. Like I wouldn't have this much knowledge or know this much without it. But I would say that if you were to learn one thing from me, I think it would just be the fact that it's really important to get up from every single thing that happens in life, whether that's a mistake you made or something that happened to you. I think the most important way for you to get ahead in the field that you love, in anything that you love, is to really just get up from each obstacle every single time, pick yourself back up, rebuild yourself, and just work on it all over again. Because it does get lonely at times, and there's not always going to be someone to help you, get up from a bad situation or from a bad moment in life. So yeah, I would say I think that's the most important thing you would need to learn.
Okay, so finally, what can we expect from you in the coming years? Like, what are your goals working forward, and where do you hope to see yourself in the next 5 years?
I would say that in the next few years, hopefully, you see me progressing further closer towards my Formula One dream and my motorsport dream in general, which is just to represent my country at the highest level possible, in whether that's in Formula One or in rallying or in endurance racing, in GT racing. I think I'm just a person who loves motorsports through and through, and anything I think would be a huge honor to represent my country, to take India's flag to that level where it hasn't been before, and to inspire a lot of females along the way, to sort of get rid of that stereotype that exists in India to this day, of females and cars or anything to do with vehicles. And yeah, I think make my family proud also obviously is one of the main things. But yeah, I think in the next few years you just see me in any form of motorsport, or maybe in every form of motorsport is what I'd say.
Okay. So, Shreya, thank you so much for joining us on Shoolini Spotlight and sharing your incredible journey with us. Your story is a wonderful example of how passion, discipline, courage can help transform a dream into a goal and a goal into an achievement. So, from starting her racing journey at just 9 years of age to competing in Formula 4, achieving more than 35 podium finishing, and And receiving the Pradhan Mantri Rashtriya Bal Puraskar Award, Shriya Lohia is certainly an inspiration for young Indians who want to pursue unconventional dreams and careers and dream big. Shriya, we wish you the very best for everything that lies ahead and especially for your dream of reaching Formula One. Thank you once again for being with us, and to our viewers, thank you for watching Shoolini Spotlight. Keep following Shoolini TV for more inspiring stories and conversations with achievers from across the country.
Thank you so much.